You got this.
You're there for them. We're here for you. Find free care guides at aarp.org/caregiving.
It's 8 o'clock. Breakfast is being served at Ellen's downtown.
I'm Carla Leal, and this is your Spectrum News in 90. Governor Abbott is responding to a lawsuit to try and stop him from using water barriers to deter border crossings. Abbott says Texas has a constitutional right to secure the border. A man who owns a kayaking business filed the lawsuit. He says those barriers flow. Meanwhile, the first round of those water barriers have arrived at the Rio Grande. They are being released into the water near Eagle Pass. The first section will be 1,000 feet long. A federal investigation says a huge fire that burned a Houston area chemical plant for 3 days could have been prevented if proper procedures were in place. That conclusion was made by the U.S. Chemical Safety and Hazard Investigation Board.
Lingering showers and storms possible through the early afternoon of our Sunday, so that's going to impact our top temperatures. Highs expected to be cooler in the upper 80s to low 90s. Unfortunately, that rain means the humidity will be high. Feels like temperatures approaching 110. Still low rain chance Monday and Tuesday. We're a little hotter, closer to 100, but we'll likely see triple digits return by midweek. Details coming up. Okay.
Hello, thank you for joining us here on Spectrum News 1. I'm Todd Boatwright. We begin today at the southern border where many migrants are still waiting to enter the U.S. using the CBP One app. The brutal heat wave in recent weeks hasn't made the wait any easier as well. Adolfo Muniz has the latest.
CBP One is a very narrow door, and to open it, it might take months. That's why recently migrants have been showing up without an appointment, not knowing that they're gonna have to wait perhaps for days in this bridge under the worst heat Texas has seen in many years. At the Reynosa Hidalgo International Bridge, an unusual sight. Migrants waiting patiently for days in the same spot. One of them is Jose. He's been waiting on the American side for 2 days, but okay, so go.
Para poder, o sea, vengo al baño a México y regreso a Estados Unidos allá.
But the situation of these migrants is more precarious than that, says Miriam Garza, who with other volunteers has been bringing them food and water almost every day. These migrants, she says, are stuck in the middle of the bridge. They can't move forward and they can't go back.
Porque son casos urgentes. No es de que están con la aplicación de CBP One y los están dejando, no sé por qué razón, varios días.
In the middle of the bridge, she finds a couple of migrants who can only watch as others make it in. But for Jose, it's preferable to be there. There's a reason why he did it.
Aburrido que de 6 meses detrás de estar intentando sacar esa cita y nunca me salió. Entonces me dijeron que probara a entregarme.
Today we counted about 15 more Ps leaving them to wait. But at one moment, there were almost 50 waiting for more than 5 days, says Miriam, all with unique circumstances, such as pregnant women or people with diseases, hoping for a humanitarian exemption without a CBP One appointment, waiting night and day, enduring dangerous triple-digit temperatures.
Si ahí se duermen en el suelo, están sufriendo. Todos son enfermos.
But for Jose, this is just a small price to pay after everything they've been through, if the American dream is within reach.
To speed up the process, officials are now expanding asylum appointments on the CBP One app. Border officials say up to 1,450 people can now register for appointments per day, which is about a 50% increase from earlier this year. And border officials are reminding migrants their bodies were recovered near Eagle Pass, along with 2 survivors who were taken into CBP custody. Last year, motorcycle fatalities in Texas went up by 8%. According to TxDOT, more than half of deadly wrecks happened during the summer and early fall. That's because more motorcyclists hit the road when the weather is pretty nice outside. As our Luis Garcia shows us, there are some rules to follow for both riders and drivers.
With the beginning of the summer, more and more motorcyclists are going to be riding the streets of Texas. But according to recent statistics, that's one of the deadliest things you can do today.
A lot of people don't realize how enjoyable it is, you know, while riding a bike, and how peaceful it is, and you know, how you could just lose track of whatever, you know, problems you have and just, you know, ride free.
Sergio Carrillo is that his great passion is very dangerous.
It's really hard to listen to all these people, you know, losing their lives for something can be so enjoyable.
Just in 2022, 562 motorcycle riders were killed in the streets of Texas, and Sergio mentioned what he thinks is one of the main reasons of this.
It's the using of the phones, you know, not looking back, not looking twice. It's something that, you know, even us driving regular cars, we don't think about. You know, becoming a motorcycle or riding a motorcycle, it raises your awareness a little bit more of what could be next to you.
At the Texas Department of Transportation offices in El Paso, Monica O'Kane works to raise awareness among drivers across the state about being on the lookout for motorcycles on the road.
Unfortunately, this year we've had about an 8% increase in deaths that occurred in 2022 here in Texas. And for us, even one death is one too much. So we had 13 fatalities, and that's affecting probably hundreds of people because of those 13 people that passed away. Where's the crash at? The crash?
It's going to be on Gateway West at Paisano.
Send the alert out to the public that a crash just happened.
But Monica knows that motorcycle drivers have to do their part too.
Wear that protective gear, you know, avoid that road rash. Take your lane, respect the driver also. You know, we don't want, you know, the motorcyclists to be going around us or to be, you know, coming up, you know, inches within our vehicles as well. Again, it's the motorcyclists respecting the vehicles and the vehicles respecting those motorcyclists.
And for Sergio, the solution to this problem is very simple.
You know, just be aware of your surroundings. You know, it's again, it's something that a lot of people have the joy of riding. You know, just be aware of everybody around you, next to you, in front of you, and behind you. You know, share the road with everybody.
Road, share some love. Coming up, we'll take a look at another reason you might see delays at airports this year and how One Texas program is looking to help fix it. That story after the break, and later, rising grocery prices are leading to more food insecurity in Texas. We'll see how one food bank is trying to keep up with demand ahead on Spectrum News 1.
Hey everybody, I'm Carla Leal. Organ and tissue donation is a monumental way people can help save a life. On the next In Focus Texas, we'll hear from lawmakers and Texas groups taking steps to encourage more people to give the gift of life. You don't want to miss it, so join us Sunday or set your DVR.
Stay connected to Spectrum News 1 with the Spectrum News app. Stream your trusted team live on the go or from home. And stay updated on the local news and weather forecasts that matter to you. Spectrum News, your community connection. Weather can be beautiful and at times powerful. Our weather experts update you with the information and the context you need so you can better plan your day. And we do it every 10 minutes. Weather on the Ones on Spectrum News 1.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
Texas holds a very special place in both my heart and my family's heart as well. My dad started in the news business in 1955, so my dad was my idol. He was my mentor. I spent so much time in that world. I knew I just had to be a part of it. My life's purpose has been about informing, educating, and most important has been my passion to help people and make a difference in people's lives. I'm Brett Shipp, anchor, Spectrum News 1.
Sunrise DFW from Friday with the clouds in place. You can see the moisture too. A nice glow here over the horizon. It was a cloudy start to our Saturday, and we may see storms into our Sunday morning. A small rain chance on the forecast Monday and Tuesday, but slightly better odds setting up as we start our Sunday. Something to plan for. And then the rainstorms shut off midweek, and the triple-digit heat will be returning. A look at our hour-by-hour forecast here late Sunday morning. Showers and storms coming in from the north, pushing east and southeast, starting to wrap up. Skies will clear, and it will be humid if we get any heavy downpours earlier in the day. Another round of early morning showers here Monday. That may come a little sooner, just after midnight. This is a look at 3:30 in the morning. Storms again coming in from the north, pushing southward late morning, wrapping up as we get into the afternoon. So the concern with any of these storms as they push inward, maybe some strong damaging wind gusts as they push southward. High pressure has been centered off to the west. We've got this northerly flow aloft and a frontal boundary nearby. That's the focal point for rain and storms into our Sunday. But this ridge getting stronger and taking over as we head into next week, and that's why we are going to be so hot. With the rain early on our Sunday, highs a little cooler, upper 80s to low 90s, but it's all about the moisture. Feels like temperatures still near and over 110 for many. Your 7-day forecast shows as the rain wraps up midweek, it is hotter, and we're back to triple digits, upper 90s in the forecast Monday and Tuesday, as high as Wednesday. And it looks like the peak of this next heat wave could come late week, as high as 103 Thursday and Friday. But unfortunately, we still have triple-digit heat in the forecast into next weekend, even into next week. So the heat will be here to stay for a bit.
Across the country, airlines are still struggling to hire pilots, and that shortage could last for years. Officials estimate there will be about 18,000 openings over the next decade for airline and commercial pilots, and we're already feeling the effects. Last year, the lack of pilots contributed to a 52% increase in flight cancellations compared with 2021. There also isn't much diversity in the aviation field right now, but one program is working to change that. Amber Hughes shows us.
Wright is in San Antonio learning more about aviation.
When I started ROTC, Air Force ROTC, it's like I started learning more about planes and what the Air Force do.
With military aspirations, Jaquan says he was eager to travel from Louisiana for Project Lift. Leaders inspiring future talent.
Where I'm from, you don't really get opportunities, so it's glad to get a free one and to learn.
All about exposure, all right? You guys are here to get exposed, all right?
Prospects like Jaquan is exactly what the aviation industry needs, according to Eric Warner with the San Antonio Airport.
What does the pipeline look like for future aviators? You don't have them when they're young and get them involved, you'll never be able to increase the numbers.
For the first time, San Antonio hosted the Airport Minority Advisory Council's annual Airport Business Diversity Conference, introducing dozens of teens to career options in aviation.
I love the fact that we have people of color.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, there's a small percentage of minority and women pilots or flight engineers. Hispanics make up nearly 10%, women only 9%. And African Americans about 3%. Here students explored aviation, careers in architecture, construction, and engineering.
Networking. I got the opportunity to meet a couple of architects, and that's the field I actually want to go in.
Warner, who manages the San Antonio Airport's Aviation Equity Initiative, says becoming a pilot can be pricey. So they want these students to know there are scholarships available.
That will help them understand that this is not outside their reach.
For Jaquan, a career in aviation is bigger than him. It could impact everyone he's connected to.
To be a black successful man and to have like people in my family or people in my neighborhood to do the same.
Airport officials in the DFW area are expecting air travel. More than 22 million passengers are expected to pass through, which is a 7% increase from 2019. Fort Worth-based American says it's expecting more than 52 million flyers across the country through mid-August. Here in Texas, the beach is one of the most popular destinations for summer travelers. And as our Crystal Dominguez shows us, Port Aransas is going all out to make some big waves.
Harry Brook and his friends are visiting Port Aransas, coming all the way from California, Idaho, and around Texas.
Oh, I love it down here, and it's my getaway.
It's his first time here competing in the Deep Sea Roundup, the oldest fishing tournament on the Texas coast.
All the money that the Port Aransas boatmen make off of the Deep Sea Roundup goes right back into the community.
And those in the tournament are spending their cash in town.
We'll grab dinner and end up at a bar tonight or something like that.
Brett Stawar is the president and CEO of the Tourism Bureau and Chamber of Commerce.
Last year, 2022, was our largest year of visitor volume.
With more than 1 million visitors staying at least one night in town, not including the hundreds of thousands of day trippers. He says the future outlook is promising.
Port Aransas has actually just completed its comprehensive plan, so looking at all of our infrastructure, looking at our needs of what we have in the community for residents and visitors alike.
Construction will make way for new rental properties, restaurants, and vacation homes.
So folks from Austin and San Antonio actually building in Port Aransas for their second homes.
He says this direct spending leaves more than $1 million a day, and that goes right back into the local economy.
The Whooping Crane Festival is going on its 26th year here in Port Aransas. We've got Sand Fest in the spring that brings in hundreds of thousands of people to sand sculpting.
For many Texans, the trip is an easy getaway.
You can just get in your car and drive and feel like you're on an island on vacation without actually having to get on a plane.
Texas companies still struggling to find employees, but there's a hidden workforce out there and some professors are helping businesses find it. Stay with us.
Well, the heat wave will continue through West Texas and El Paso as we head into the start of next week. It's more triple-digit heat, and the heat wave just getting started. Another one through Central and South Texas with triple digits expected to arrive in areas like Austin and San Antonio. Continue into next week. We are also very hot as the rain shuts off through South Texas, finding 90s in areas like North Texas and along the coast. We'll take a look at more news and weather coming up.
An answer to one of society's biggest questions may be found in the youngest minds. Does poverty impact a child's development, their performance in school? The hypothesis that mothers who have access to cash raise babies with stronger brain development.
The basis of the baby's first year study is really to understand whether providing economic support would change children's trajectories.
Exploring your health, budgeting for brain development, available on all your favorite devices.
When you buy Spectrum Mobile for just $29.99 a month, you get a second line for free. So get one line for yourself and a free line for your devoted friend. Or you can get one line for yourself and one line for your kid.
Sold.
Or both lines for yourself. I use one for business and another for business. I do a lot of business. Get one line of unlimited for $29.99 and get...
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
We have one mission, and that is to serve our community.
Our goal with Spectrum News 1 is to tell people's stories. We're telling a person's story in a way that's relatable to who they are.
It's my responsibility to know the issues here in Texas, but also, more importantly, to know who it affects.
We want to make sure that you know what's going on in politics and weather and entertainment. You're going to get storytelling about your
Across the state, employers are struggling to hire workers. Blessing Uwachuku shows how some Ivy League professors are helping Texas businesses discover the hidden workforce.
I'm here at the Donor Pavilion at the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center. Now,
Oh yeah, that's fine. Okay. See, they know their first priority is the donors.
Adrian Mendoza is grateful for the number of employees she has right now.
Thanks for donating.
Attending to people giving blood. It was just a year ago when it was hard for the chief operating officer to get anyone to even apply.
We had vacancies, about a 20% vacancy rate for the positions that are really essential frontline middle skilled work.
She says they had about 40 open spots this time last year, but now, as of this interview, it dropped to less than 10. So what changed? Well, she did. Adrian and 9 other San Antonio leaders were part of a group who learned about the hidden workforce. It's research led by professors at Harvard Business School. The Ivy League's Young American Leaders Program and Greater SATX help Adrian tackle her workforce development challenges. Like, for one, to do this work you see here, a bachelor's degree was a requirement. Not anymore.
We did change our criteria, changing the standards who don't have a college degree in some instances to start working here, and also looked at our career progression into the next levels of positions to allow for someone to grow and learn and engage in promotions without having a college degree.
It's not lowering the standards. It is righting the mistake of upskilling the job for no reason.
Manjiri Raman is one of the Harvard Business School professors who did this research.
We've spoken to all kinds of employers across the state of Texas. Employers need to step forward. They need to understand that workforce development is something that companies will now need to do.
Adrian did it.
We made those changes, and we're sitting at a less than 5% vacancy rate. So people are staying with us, and we're filling the positions really quickly in the community.
But will other employers follow suit?
In the gaming industry, and there are folks right here in Texas trying to preserve the history behind the games. Brian Scott introduces us to one Texan who just saved a long-lost relic from video games past.
You know, it's only been a few short decades that video games have been capturing imaginations right in the middle of Texas living rooms. Before that, the phenomenon was coming of age in the arcade, and it seems that it wasn't just the great games there that blazed a trail. Oh, the high scores you'll find in the Denton storage locker of Patrick Scott Patterson.
Various collectibles. I never quite know what I'm going to find.
Collector's cards, autographs.
I never opened Big Mouth Billy Bass.
Anything he might find a buyer for, the modern treasure hunter.
Storage auctions, auction houses, thrift stores, yard sales.
But there's always one per pass on.
A video game boneyard.
Yeah, the video games. You see, Patrick actually started his general treasure business while on the hunt for video gaming's past.
There's a loose chip down here.
As a longtime historian and expert on that industry that's brought him so much joy his whole life.
Well, video games are one of those first loves of mine.
And those two worlds collided in the treasure of an old black arcade cabinet.
It was another game called Mr. Do.
Except he knew it didn't belong in that cabinet.
Usually I'll go to these auctions, and if a game has been converted, as a lot of them were, I'll be able to tell you what it was originally. This one I didn't quite know.
So he bought it, started carefully wiping away the black paint.
It took about 60 hours to really kind of scrub it all off.
And below it found a Sega logo, painted artwork.
This is, you know, the white whale, a holy grail for a few.
Samurai.
It is possibly the first hack and slash game that there was.
And yet most have likely never heard of it. Because Patrick says even by early gaming standards, this one was fine.
There's a lot that bombed. There's a lot that didn't catch on. This was one of them.
But because of that, most of the cabinets are now long gone, destroyed, and the one Patrick found is one of roughly 6 known to exist by the International Arcade Museum.
The only known complete one went for 10 grand in an auction just a couple years ago.
And that, too, is where Patrick's cabinet for this forgettable but rare game will soon go. He's got to make money, after all.
I mean, the artwork on this thing is beautiful.
But the historian he is, he also plans to find a good home for it. Someone who will appreciate and celebrate the history that drove him to bring this thing back to life.
I couldn't just leave this covered in the paint. I just had to do it.
Because even the treasure hunter he is, he'll never skip on a chance to save the history.
And still ahead, we'll meet a young Texan using some unique technology to spark conversations. We'll hear his story coming up on Spectrum News 1. Keep it here.
A thriving community is an informed community. In bringing people the news is something that I take very seriously. There's just so many things to love about the state of Texas. Southern hospitality, great food. I love that there are so many different cultures celebrated. I want people to turn us on in the morning and feel like they've got the information they need to go out and conquer their day. I'm Alex Stockwell, anchor for Spectrum News 1.
With Spectrum Mobile, your mobile speeds are already amazingly fast, but now they've developed Speed Boost. And it's only possible because Spectrum Internet, Advanced Wi-Fi, and mobile all work together. It's like speed on top of speed on top of speed, or like taking a shot of espresso, like this one. Woo! Then chugging an energy drink, yeah! And then being shot out of a cannon. Let's light this candle. Change my mind. Change my mind, change my mind. Get fast speeds on your mobile devices with Speed Boost, only from Spectrum Mobile.
I cannot set you free. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go. Babe, I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We are connected, engaged, from the moment we rise. We move. We adjust. We learn, explore, relax, and grow together so we're ready to build a better tomorrow. Stay informed throughout your day with the Spectrum News app, exclusively for Spectrum customers.
Weather on the Ones, every 10 minutes. Also available on the Spectrum News app.
Hello, Dallas-Fort Worth. Here's your Spectrum News in 90. Tarrant County medical examiners have identified remains found back in March. The office notified Fort Worth police. They have found Taliba Fatin Islam. She was reported missing in 2006 in Fort Worth. Police say they are currently investigating. People are remembering Dallas police officers killed back in 2016. It was 7 years ago Friday. Micah Johnson targeted the officers who were working on a Black Lives Matter march. Police say Johnson shot and killed 5 officers, injuring 9 of them. The gunman in El Paso in the Walmart mass shooting will serve 90 life sentences. A federal judge. The 2019 shooting left 23 people dead. That gunman still faces capital murder charges in state court.
Late Sunday morning through the early afternoon, we've got a chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures in result will be cooler. Highs only expected in the upper 80s to low 90s, but it's all about the humidity. With this rain in place, feels like temperatures may approach 110. We are still expecting a low rain chance in the forecast Monday and Tuesday. Details are coming up.
Hi, welcome back. A new drug shown to slow Alzheimer's has now gotten full approval from the FDA. Early results suggest Lectin could slow Alzheimer's by several months by clearing up plaque buildup in the brain associated with the disease. Now, some folks full FDA approval. The move is expected to broaden access due to better insurance coverage from Medicare and Medicaid. Meanwhile, there is more evidence of a possible connection linking cholesterol to Alzheimer's. A new study shows a strong correlation between fluctuating cholesterol levels and dementia. Researchers tested more than 11,000 people with an average age of 71. They found patients whose lipid levels fluctuate a lot have a 19% higher risk of Alzheimer's. Millions of Texans are wondering where their next meal will come from. In Austin, a community center has been feeding locals for 80 years. But a recent rise in demand is testing their limits. Here's Dylan Scott.
With SNAP benefits returning to pre-pandemic levels and yet grocery store prices continuing to rise, local food banks like the Baptist Community Center mission behind me tell us that they are working overtime.
It's hard. I mean, some days we get 3 boxes of food. Today we got a lot of boxes of food, and we just never know what's coming in.
BCCM Executive Director Chris King grew up in Austin. So seeing his community face a food insecurity rate of about 15% according to the city drives their mission.
It was already hard, and then food costs started rising. Rent started rising, and then when their SNAP benefits got reduced back to pre-pandemic levels, that hurt a lot. I mean, we had some families that went from $850 a month in benefits down to $250 a month in benefits.
According to Feeding Texas, more than 1 million people are now receiving reduced funding for groceries. In Travis County alone, residents are losing $8 million in SNAP benefits.
We helped 60 families through the food pantry, serving every month.
Robert Natal is one of those Texans and says after months of waiting, he still hasn't even received his benefits.
Applied for it, but I haven't got no answer. Prices are going up, you know, and the food is expensive, you know.
We should listen to our food banks and to our social service providers that help every single day, who are asking us to make it easier for folks to get this benefit.
Congressman Greg Casar, whose district stretches from Austin to San Antonio, wishes SNAP benefits weren't cut at the federal level. He says they are simply too important.
So we're trying to defend the programs that we've got, talk about why they're actually good at really helping people and pulling them out of poverty, and then also looking forward to a day where we can talk about expanding those benefits rather than continuing to cut them.
While the back and forth continues in the Capitol, those picking up the slack here in the capital city, philanthropic effort.
I just want to give them a soft, loving place to come in to where they're welcome. We don't judge. We don't ask a lot of questions. We just want to help.
Well, new technology is changing the way a 20-year-old in North Texas interacts with the world. Ashley Claster is in Keller, north of Fort Worth, to show us how it all works.
Watson is a master on his eye gaze technology.
You type with your fingers while I type with my eyes.
And he's so good at it that he's now teaching teachers.
here's my Yoda impression.
Watson, my name is 20 years old. I am.
Watson Polk has a rare metabolic disorder. He drives a power-based technology.
There are 2 near-infrared lights reflecting in my eyes at the bottom of the computer. Those reflections are picked up by the eye tracker's camera, and with screening and calculations, the computer knows where I'm looking. This might sound easy, but my mom says it takes superpowers. And if you have the ability to use your hands, it inhibits that superpower.
Since graduating from high school 2 years ago, Watson's demonstrating his computer and speaking skills to different groups about his life and school experiences.
I tried my hand at being a motivational speaker because I decided not to go to college, and my mom said Netflix is not a good life plan.
He's at Keller ISD right now showing teachers how this computer works.
I'm here to talk about how I felt about my therapist, support staff, etc. And some other things just for fun.
Many of these teachers and therapists work in special education classrooms. And so learning how to interact with someone speaking through a computer will help prepare them for a student in the future.
My dream job is to be on the Mercedes-Benz Formula One racing team. But until Mercedes calls me, I guess I'll stick with speaking.
Watson is always happy. His mom says he's always the life of the party, and he's hilarious.
You have asked me a lot of questions. Do you mind if I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you have a Dallas Cowboys connection for tickets to a game?
I might have our sports guy. Watson's goal, helpful they can be.
Meanwhile, Meta is out with its own version of Twitter. The company officially launched Threads recently. The app allows users to post messages with a 500-character limit. Meta says its goal is to offer space for real-time conversations online and to help build a following and connect others with like-minded people. Still to come, Texas is home to thousands of military families. We'll see what one Texas town's doing to make them feel more at ease. All that and more after the break.
I am most satisfied when I'm making a difference. I get to go to work every day and communicate with fellow Texans who understand and the choices we make matter. And if they can trust me to share important information with them, then I am a happy camper. I'm Dr. Nicole Cross, anchor for Spectrum News 1.
From coast to coast, you've seen us around. We live and work in the communities we serve. Our commitment runs deep. We're invested here, creating good jobs and supporting small businesses, many of which we're proud to call customers. You count on us to keep you connected to what matters most, and we're committed to delivering you the best internet, TV, and mobile service. We're Spectrum, connecting the places we all call home.
When I first saw a turtle, my heart was full. Now anything but lonely.
We have this deep connection, this heart connection.
He just wants to be close to you and part of your life.
When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer.
I think everything he does shows how much he loves us.
When we adopt a shelter pet, we discover they're a little bit of a lot of things.
But they're all pure love.
Weather can be beautiful, inconvenient, and at times powerful, and it affects everything we do. At Spectrum News 1, our weather experts update you with the information and the context you need so you can better plan your day. And we do it every 10 minutes. We're the calm in the storm, Weather on the Ones on Spectrum News 1. And get your weather anytime on the Spectrum News app.
from Friday with the clouds in place. You can see the moisture too. A nice glow here over the horizon. It was a cloudy start to our Saturday, and we may see storms into our Sunday morning. A small rain chance on the forecast Monday and Tuesday, but slightly better odds setting up as we start our Sunday. Something to plan for. And then the rainstorms shut off midweek, and the triple-digit heat will be returning. A look at our hour-by-hour forecast here late Sunday morning. Showers and storms coming in from the north, pushing east and southeast, starting to wrap up early afternoon. A lot of this activity done by 1 o'clock, and skies will clear, and it will be humid if we get any heavy downpours earlier in the day. Another round of early morning showers here Monday, and that may come a little sooner, just after midnight. This is a look at 3:30 in the morning. Storms again coming in from the north, pushing southward late morning, wrapping up as we get into the afternoon. So the concern with any of these storms, they push southward. High pressure has been centered off to the west. We've got this northerly flow aloft and a frontal boundary nearby. That's the focal point for rain and storms into our Sunday. But this ridge getting stronger and taking over as we head into next week, and that's why we are going to be so hot. With the rain early on our Sunday, highs a little cooler, upper 80s to low 90s, but it's all about the moisture. Feels like temperatures still near and over 110 for many. Your 7-day forecast shows as the rain wraps up midweek, it is hotter, and we're back to triple digits, upper 90s in the forecast Monday and Tuesday, as high as 102 by Wednesday. And it looks like the peak of this next heat wave could come late week, as high as 103 Thursday and Friday. But unfortunately, we still have triple-digit heat in the forecast into next weekend, even into next week. So the heat will be here to stay for a bit. Peace.
Texas is home to more than 200,000 military families. New homes are being built just for them. JJ Maldonado spoke with the first family to move in.
Awards. Oh, there's a few.
The Beauchamps are unpacking and getting comfortable in their new home.
Clean, new, beautiful.
Yeah.
It was exciting, yeah.
They are the first family selected to move in and lease a new home in the new Heritage Heights home division on Fort Cavazos. The 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes are the first to be built on the base since the last development in 2018. Allison Beauchamp says her new home is an upgrade to the previous home they lived in on base.
Our last home was a lot less modern than this. This one's more family centered. So our last home, like our kitchen was closed off, our living room and dining room were their own separate places. But here it's a very open kitchen, living, dining room.
The new homes are part of a 5-year, $420 million development plan for Calvary Family Housing Lease, a real estate group that runs and manages privatized military housing communities.
And it was time for an upgrade. So it means, providing an additional benefit to these families.
Chris Albus is the director of Lend-Lease and Calvary Family Housing. He says 9 homes have been completed with 42 under construction. When all is said and done, there will be 580 new homes at the end of the project, expected to be completed in 2026. He says the new builds are for junior enlisted soldiers and could help with recruiting efforts.
So if these new homes can be that positive first impression for a brand new soldier coming in the Army and make that soldier be part of the decision-making cycle to re-enlist in the Army, we find that to be rewarding and part of our objective.
Part of the project also includes renovations for existing homes at Fort Cavazos. Living on base provides military families with benefits such as utilities paid for and free maintenance of the homes. The Beauchamps have a choice of living on or off base, are worth it, and look forward to welcoming in the new neighbors.
Housing structure feels more similar to maybe a neighborhood off post, so it feels more homey.
A piece of history is being kept alive in San Antonio. Amber Hughes shares the legacy of Wilson Potters, also known as the first black businessman in Texas.
Bertha Wilson, and that's my grandmother.
Texas roots run deep for Paula King Harper.
I am actually 5th generation descendant of Hiram Wilson.
And Hiram was born a slave. In the 1850s, his owner brought him to Capote, Texas, near Seguin.
And we knew about Capote. I grew up going to Capote as a small child. I did not know about the history of the pottery, though.
While enslaved, Hiram and his brother learned the art of pottery making, a skill they continued to use after emancipation.
Own business, and James partnered with them, and so they created H. Wilson and Company, and they are known as the first Black entrepreneurs in Texas.
Now, centuries later, his descendants keep Hiram's legacy alive through the Wilson Pottery Foundation.
We are celebrating the 10th anniversary of the museum.
Inside the Sebastopol House in Seguin, you can find their handcrafted pottery on display.
So they use crocks for everything, whether it was to store lard, milk, they churned butter.
Some of their pottery is even at the Smithsonian in D.C. and museums across Texas.
The Wilson history itself is part of Texas historical fabric.
The State Register of Historic Places includes 3 Wilson pottery sites.
Here we do have some first site Wilson pieces.
But unfortunately, the foundation itself doesn't own many of the artifacts, which now cost thousands of dollars each.
That is one of our goals, is to actually own our own, and they don't come cheap.
But as she looks at these shards, Paula can't help but think about Juneteenth, her ancestor being able to own 100 acres of land post-slavery.
They hit the ground running with their business, and they showed us that you may be enslaved once, but you don't have to be enslaved forever. He graduated Wiley College. He actually came back and started some schools and some churches.
A legacy of freedom from former slaves to hundreds of descendants celebrating today.
I love our heritage. I didn't ask to be born into this family, but I'm glad that I was.
And up next, we have some special guests in studio for Wellness Month to talk about the benefits of yoga, both mentally and physically. Wait till you see how this goes. Stay with us.
Through West Texas and El Paso as we head into the start of next week. It's more triple-digit heat and the heat wave just getting started. Another one through Central and South Texas with triple digits expected to arrive in areas like Austin and San Antonio continue into next week. We are also very hot as the rain shuts off through South Texas, finding 90s in areas like North Texas along the coast. We'll take a look at more news and weather coming up.
The strength of Texas is in its many voices and unique perspectives. Every Sunday, join host Carla Leal on In Focus Texas. Education, economy, immigration, and more. Balanced and respectful discussion of the serious matters impacting Texas from experts across the state.
We take a closer look at the issues in your community.
It's at 9:30 on Spectrum News 1, available on all your favorite devices.
So you're telling me this one-size-fits-all network upgrade is the best you guys can do?
Better than that. It's the only thing we do.
That's how we know it's right for you.
Aye, aye, aye.
Is that what I said?
No, I think you were okay. I think that's a yes.
We get it. Ask for the technology you need, and they call you unreasonable. We call you something else, our kind of client. So go ahead, be unreasonable.
I'll be here to hear what's on your mind. Take this time to talk and get it right. You know I'll be there all your life. When you need me, I'll be by your side.
Little everyday conscious drinking can make a big difference in a child's life.
Today at Zilker Park, where folks from across the state of Texas are coming together for this.
At Spectrum News, we're committed to our communities around the clock, delivering stories that inspire and news that matters in your community. Our journalists are dedicated to bringing you trusted, balanced local news every day. And now, Spectrum Internet-only customers, you can watch Spectrum News 1 on your TV, connecting you to your community 24/7. Spectrum News, now streaming, exclusively for Spectrum customers.
Now, welcome back. Well, the popularity of pickleball has skyrocketed recently. In Corpus Christi, a sports club is now adding more courts to handle all the demand. Crystal Dominguez shows us.
You've heard of it, but have you played?
The very basics of pickleball is trying to win the point.
Pickleball is an old game with a new crowd.
This is how the game's exploding so much. Such a young crowd is getting involved.
Matthew Westmoreland is the director of pickleball at the Corpus Christi Athletic Club.
I probably taught over 1,000 people in the past 3-4 years.
He's one of the city's ambassadors promoting the racket sport.
There's probably a good 30 people that are really...
Right now, they have about a dozen tennis courts lined with green tape, setting the perimeter for pickleball. But that's about to change.
We're actually going to start an indoor 8-court expansion here, air-conditioned, because Corpus does get hot, it does get windy, so it's pretty tough to play pickleball.
With a groundbreaking party planned in 3 months for the club's two-building, $4 million fitness expansion.
But we're putting a lot of money and dedication into the growth of pickleball here. The coolest thing I see is 3 generations of family being able to play.
Pickleball instructor Joseph Serta says his parents introduced him to the sport, and as a teen, he didn't think he'd be interested.
I thought it was silly because of the name. I didn't want to try it. But then once I started playing, it felt familiar, like all the sports I've been playing just fit into this one.
A combination of tennis, ping pong, and badminton with a song.
It doubled in popularity. It's crazy how fast it's growing.
So I thought I would give it a shot.
So this is a game that started in the 60s, but here we are, all different ages playing. Well, I'm trying to play.
And just like that, they got me hooked.
Well, July is Social Wellness Month, and what better way to get fit than with yoga? We're joined by the Yoga 6 studio with instructors Caitlin Walsh and wellness advisor Ruth Lopez. They're going to show us some moves as well. Now, we talked a little bit earlier. I have a move. You got to tell me what I'm doing. Why I'm doing this and what I'm doing, what the benefits of this.
Of course.
I've done this all my life. I don't know why. I sit like this on the sofa.
So this means you have very healthy hips. They're nice and open. You're mobile, so that's awesome.
Not really, but
this is insane.
But people do
There's
this.
benefits, yeah. There's a lot of people that can do that, a lot of people who can't, so that's okay. Takes some flexibility, takes a lot of half pigeons before we get into the full version.
Right, and you guys do, it's called hot yoga. What is that and why do that? It's 105 degrees outside, but I guess hot yoga has a benefit.
Yeah, so at Yoga 6 we offer not only hot but power yoga, slow flows, and then focus on mindfulness as well. But hot yoga is actually really just good to release the joints, muscles, and it helps you deepen and go deeper into the poses also. And it also has a bunch of health benefits. Yeah, some of those reduce inflammation in the body, reduces insomnia if you struggle with that.
Really?
Yeah, anxiety it helps with a lot too, boosts your confidence, all of that good stuff. Yeah, so lots of benefits for sure.
So besides like the physical, what other kind of benefits are there to just any kind of yoga?
I mean everything, to confidence boost, to move in your body, to not feeling like restricted in your movement. So
like now?
Yeah, like right now. So yeah, the list goes on. I mean, it helps every aspect of your life. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the different poses mean something, right? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, yoga is more so about the breath and the connection between breath to movement rather than like making a perfect posture.
Yeah.
So we like to focus more on just that connection first. Yeah. But yeah, all of the poses offer so many benefits. It's countless.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And is this for any age? Like from what to what?
Any age.
Really?
Literally, I've had like toddlers who love yoga to my older people who can barely even stand up, who do, like chair yoga, and even on your bed you could do it. So yeah, it's for everyone. As long as you can breathe, you can do yoga.
Oh, good. Yeah. Can one of you guys help me get? Oh my goodness. I need to come take a class.
You do need a class.
Good. You're so flexible.
That was amazing.
So flexible.
But again, it's basically for any age. With the skill level, is it for each age level? There's a different skill level for each age?
Yeah, we have 6 different classes. So if you are brand new to yoga, you can start with our beginner classes. If you are an advanced yogi, you can come to our advanced power sculpt classes, and you'll fit right in.
You have a pose we got to see. This is her.
I sure do. So this is by far one of the most challenging poses. It requires a lot of core strength, a lot of balance. You do not have to do this, but it's fun.
Handstand, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. Thank you so much for watching Spectrum News 1. That's how you do it.
The decisions elected officials make really have an impact on all of us. A big part of what we do on Capitol Tonight is break down the issues so that they're easily understood. We want to bring you a better understanding of local issues and the local impact of national issues with relevant, in-depth conversations that provide context for Texans in a balanced and informative way. Capitol Tonight, weeknights at 7 on Spectrum News 1.
The best things in life are free.
That's why Spectrum Mobile is giving you one free mobile line when you buy one unlimited line for $29.99.
Hey, so I can get 2 lines for the price of one? That's right, for just $29.99.
Switch to Spectrum Mobile Unlimited for $29.99 a month and get a second unlimited line free for 12 months with no contracts. Call 1-844-537-2999. Visit spectrum.com/getconnected or a Spectrum store today.
It's the best deal in mobile.
Free mobile sounds good, but is the service reliable?
Absolutely. Spectrum Mobile is super reliable, coast to coast.
Okay, but what's the catch?
Is it contracts?
No contracts, no catch.
Get one line for $29.99 and the second line is free.
All with no taxes or hidden fees.
Whew. Man, I'm switching to Spectrum. You said?
Switch to Spectrum Mobile Unlimited for $29.99 a month and get a second unlimited line free for 12 months. Call 1-844-537-2999.
Get the best deal in mobile. Switch to Spectrum.
Forest inspired a beautiful question. Mother, mother, am I a tree? You tell me to stand tall. You tell me to stay rooted.